everyone, and welcome back to the RMTV Women's Podcast. This is episode 111, and it's just me and Amy again this week, as usual. Amy, how are we on this fine Tuesday lunchtime once again?
I'm good. I had first day of December, first advent calendar opening. Absolutely fabulous. I've got my Christmas tree up.
Yeah, there it is.
It's a little bit bare, I'm not gonna lie. It's a work in progress. But I'm feeling all right, I just can't actually fathom the fact it's December.
I know.
It just absolutely baffles me. November, just when? I don't think I actually achieved anything in that month, which is really sad. And we're in December, and it's now 25 days till Christmas.
Well, the real question is, what advent calendar have you got?
Well, Mandy got me them, my mum. And she usually, because obviously my brother usually gets one as well, but she's gone away. But she got two. So my dad's ended up having one, which he hasn't had for about 4 years. But I let my dad choose first, and he chose the Malteser one. So I've just got the plain dairy milk, which I think you can't really go wrong with that one.
With that one?
No, it's a good one.
I'm
happy with the choice.
Where did Mandy find the dairy milk one? Because there seems to be a bit of a thing.
Shortage.
What?
Is there a shortage of them or something?
Apparently so. Apparently, whenever you go into my mum's had this issue because our Hannah only likes the dairy milk ones. She hasn't been able to find them in any of the shops like Tesco, Asda, none of them. She actually in the garage, the petrol station.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure she just where'd she get them from? I don't know. It was a while ago, to be fair, so maybe it's before that original rush of people getting them.
Yeah. There seems to be a few people who haven't been able to find the dairy milk ones in the actual shops. So,
oh dear.
I went Milky Bar.
Nice. Can't go wrong with that either.
It's my favourite chocolate, so can't go wrong. So let's get into the podcast then, the topics that we actually want to discuss. The first one that we want to chat about is the FIFA Best nominations for 2020. Obviously last year there was a bit of mixed feelings regarding the nominations and the players who won and the reasons that they won for. This year, there's some newcomers in there, some of the usual ones from last year. So I'll quickly run through the full list of the nominations this year. So we've got Lucy Bronze, we've got Delphine Cascarino. I really hope I'm saying all these names right, by the way. We've got Caroline Graham Hansen, we've got Pernal Harder, we've got Jennifer Hermoso, we've got G, Sam Kerr, Sahi Kumagai, is it? Kumagai. Oh, here we go. Here you are. How do you say her first name?
Jennifer.
Marazan. She plays for Lyon. We've got Miedemar and we've got Wendy Renard. So I think, they're all decent players. I do know all of them are, I'm just not very good with name pronunciations.
Yeah.
I think I was surprised when I looked at the shortlist from last year that Pernal Harder wasn't on last year's.
Yeah.
And I was like, I swear she was on there, but she wasn't. But she's nominated this year. Obviously, she had a really good season at Wolfsburg, moved to Chelsea in the summer, and Amy's frozen again.
Have I?
Yeah.
Oh.
You're back now. You're back now.
I'm back.
Yeah, but upon looking at the list, what's your thoughts, feelings on it? Are you happy?
Yeah, I think so. I think last year was a bit of a strange one, just because obviously it was the World Cup, and a lot of things that happened within the World Cup, inside and outside of football, sort of I think influenced the nominees and then the ending decision of who won the award. But it's interesting now to see that two of those who were in the top three last year aren't even a nominee this year. Obviously, Alex Morgan we know because she's been out with having a baby. So that's pretty much understandable. I'm not too sure what's going on with Megan Rapinoe. I don't keep up with the American side of things,
she hasn't played this season, obviously, because with like the pandemic, they did the Challenge Cup, and she opted out of that, so she didn't play.
Okay, so that's obviously out of her control. I think that's why you don't see a lot of not many American players in there.
Well, there's none of them on there, is there, from last year?
Yeah,
none of them are nominated.
It's probably because they've not actually played a significant amount of football this year. I mean, who has really? Let's be honest, especially in the women's game. But I think there's some really, really good shouts on there. I think Lucy Bronze is always going to be up there as long as she's playing football. She's always going to be. Sam Kerr is another one of them. I think she's not had the best season, but she's by her own levels, but by everyone else's, she's up there anyway.
So one of the best, isn't she?
100%, yeah. And Miedemar. I think my money would probably be on Miedemar, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think out of all of them, from my perspective, she'd be the most fit candidate for it.
Well, yeah, I think if we go back to probably our videos where we discussed like the nominations in that last year, I think we put Miedemar quite high. I think all in the back of our minds, we all knew that like someone like Megan Rapinoe was probably going to win it just because of the circumstances, like you mentioned. But this year, like I feel like Miedemar is probably going to just run away with it, just simply because of the
records that she's broken. It's crazy. Like the Arsenal one was 50 something goals in however many
2 games or 54 games or something.
Sorry, yeah. And I always, I know it's terrible to do, but I always sort of look at it like, how many goals are the men scoring within a season? And as horrible as it's kind of a nice focal point. I know we go on about the women's game is completely different to the men's game, but if you look at a stat that shows, especially I think it was last season or the season before, that Miedemar was on the same amount of goals as Salah and Mane at one point, close towards the end of the season as well. You look at that and you go, that's absolutely incredible. And even in women's game standards, it's just blown completely out of the park when it comes to Miedemar. She's just absolutely phenomenal. I'd love to know how many hat-tricks she scored this season, because it must be quite a few. Because she just seems every other week I'm seeing graphics of Miedemar scoring goals coming up on my Twitter feed. Yeah. So she's just phenomenal. And out of all of the ones, and obviously I don't follow like the Barcelonas or the Lyons as much as I would do the English game. That's probably why we're a bit more biased towards those that play within the area that we sort of look at. But even as a whole, I would just probably say her, and thoroughly deserves it as well.
Yeah, I think I think it's hard to look past like all the Lyon players for obvious reasons, because of what they've all achieved as like a team the last 4 years. I think obviously Lucy Bronze coming second last year. She's obviously gone again and won like the Champions League this year and stuff like that. So that puts her, right near the top, maybe top spot. But yeah, Miedemar's definitely up there. I think, I don't know, I'd probably say that Jenny Hermoso, who plays for Barcelona, she
done all right, hasn't she?
Yeah, I think she resigned for them not long ago from Atletico Madrid, and I think she's done extremely well for them as well. So there's quite a few players there that obviously that you're gonna be like, oh well, she deserves to win because of this, and she deserves to win because of this. So let us know your thoughts in the comments who you think the top 3 is going to be, because only 3 of them get an award off that. But also this year, they did it last year as well, I'm pretty sure, but the best women's goalkeeper nominations came through as well. And can I just say, Ellie Roebuck must be absolutely buzzing.
Oh, 100%.
Be nominated for this. What she's only like our age, is she like 20, 21?
Yeah.
She's found herself, being Man City's first choice goalkeeper, and just performing extremely well. Obviously, getting a few England call-ups as well, and being in amongst them, and just been a really good 12 months. I think 18 months for Ellie Roebuck, and I think she thoroughly deserves the recognition that she's getting, because she's been absolutely phenomenal.
100%, yeah, I agree. There's some big names that she's up against there as well. we've got that Alicia Nair, obviously World Cup winner, which is something to come up against. Endler, who we've spoken about quite a lot on this channel, actually. And obviously throughout the World Cup, I think it was highlighted even more. Yeah. And obviously PSG just beat Lyon's record of win, like obviously broke down their record of consecutive wins. So she'll be up there as well, and just all of them. Katrin Berger, Lindahl from the World Cup. Like, I know that's a year ago, but she's obviously been consistent enough to be recognised once again. But what a moment for Ellie Roebuck to be up and within them at that age. And if you think the amount of experience and things that are still to come, it only bodes really well, doesn't it?
Would you almost say that Ellie Roebuck's probably England's first choice goalkeeper now, in terms of like going into obviously the major tournaments next year? Obviously you've got like the veterans of Carly Telford and Karen Bardsley, but Karen Bardsley obviously dropped off. I think she got called back up to the squads recently. Carl Telford's obviously in there, and then you've got like Sandy McGarver coming up and stuff like that. But I'd almost say that Ellie Roebuck's probably the main person to be in goal for us now.
Yeah, I agree. I think Neville definitely favours her over the others, specifically at the moment. I think Carly Telford is probably not number one anymore. I think that's probably safe to say. I think Karen Bardsley is definitely still up there. She's just had a couple of injury problems recently. So I think it's sort of pushed her down the pecking order, as in terms of Ellie's thrived rather than stumbled while she's been away. So that kind of tells you what you need to know there. I think Sandy McIver as well is doing really well within that setup. So you never know, but I think at this precise moment in time, I would probably say she's his number one choice for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And then finally, the best women's coach of the year nominees. Emma Hayes is in there for Chelsea. She's the only one of like the England teams and who's nominated. I don't know how Phil Neville's not in there. Do you know what I mean? He should be right up there.
Should he?
Sarcasm.
Okay, got you.
Again, some really good managers. Obviously, Serena Wagman, who's going to be the England head coach next year, is nominated with the Netherlands. There's just, I'll make sure to.
You can't look past Leon's manager though, can you? It's difficult. I think he's won it for so many seasons now, and I think Emma Hayes has done amazing, and I kind of wish she will win it because of the English representation and whatnot. But you do sort of just draw yourself to picking the Leon manager.
Yeah, and I think they won last year as well. So it's sort of weird though, because it's like I said it when we were talking about the players, like, you can't not look past the Leon players and all that, but it sort of seems like, I don't know, it sort of seems repetitive in what you're saying, like, Wendy Renard deserves because she's captain Leon, she's this, they've won the Champions League, and it's just like, you've got to appreciate what they've achieved, and it's obviously an amazing achievement, but like, sometimes you've got to look at the players who aren't necessarily winning loads of trophies, but are putting in the performance and breaking the records. Like Maiden, obviously Arsenal won the league, but they haven't won anything else. But then she's still breaking all these records and putting on these performances and doing loads of stuff. So it's just like, do you know what I mean? They've won the odd FA Cup and stuff like that over the years, but
I think it's probably damaged them a bit more as well, the fact that last season it wasn't able to finish, so Arsenal didn't qualify the Champions League, they didn't win the league, Chelsea got there, so I think that's probably damaged things a little bit more in that, like it's not ruined the chances, but mistapped them slightly, because you've not named all these accolades that they've got and things like that. But I agree that you mean it sometimes needs to be about like performances as well, regardless of whether you're winning every single thing under the sun, because I think at least for a couple of seasons more, Leon are going to be up there. So it's it's like, is this a competition about being the best footballer, or is this a competition about winning the most trophies? Do you know what I mean? And that's where the line sort of blurs.
Yeah, because like you've gone through it for so many years, like with like the men's awards, where it's just been Messi or Ronaldo for the Ballon d'Or for so many years, and then other nominees come along and you think, well, they deserve it because they've achieved this and this for this team who isn't exactly, obviously, like obviously we're going to be biased towards like Salah, but like his first season at Liverpool, he was phenomenal. Like his numbers were ridiculous, but we didn't win anything, so that probably like damaged his chances of being well up there for a lot of awards because we didn't win nothing. So like Liverpool as a team wasn't on the map, but Salah as a player was. So sometimes you've got to look at that. Like obviously Chelsea didn't have the best of seasons last season, the season before. Obviously they won it last year on like points per game and stuff like that. But the season before they weren't up there, and everyone discussed it. But they still had so many amazing individual players that you could highlight. But because their team wasn't performing amazing, sort of the players don't get half the recognition that they deserve. So this isn't like a Leon hate, by the way. Like they are a fabulous team. I feel
Imagine get your pitchforks out.
I feel like it's come across that. Like I'm like, no, Leon shouldn't win anything. Like they definitely should be. Like they deserve all the accolades. But sometimes you've got to look past the trophies and look at individual performances, like Myanmar, who's broke every record and is just like a phenomenal player, and she's still only like 24 or something like that. Like sometimes you've got to just base it off individuals rather than a whole team put together.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, let us know out of all those three categories. I'll make sure when in the edit to put like the list up so everyone can see the full list and stuff like that. And I'll link, there's an article for it as well, I'll link that in the description so you can go through and just have a look at the nominees and let us know who you'd like to see in the top three or any of the winners. Well, and on a nice note, a nice little story that came out on Twitter this week. It was about a young A-level student by the name of Poppy Corbushy. I think that's how you say it. Obviously, it's been a very tough time for students the last, 12. So obviously, we didn't have the best end to our university experience, but you take what you give them. But obviously, for those doing GCSEs and A-levels, it's probably been a lot harder.
Horrendous.
I certainly wouldn't have liked to have had to go through a global pandemic doing my GCSEs. That would have been, well, not doing my GCSEs, but then also being up in the air about what's going to happen, whether you're going to get into sixth form, into college, like who knows. So it's been tough for them. But a young A-level student by the name of Poppy put on Twitter that she was doing a project talking about how and why the menstrual cycle affects performances in women's football. Obviously, that's been a big topic for a couple of years now in the women's game, and still is. It's still mentioned quite frequently. She highlighted an article by Frank Kirby that she read last year and wanted to speak to either Frank Kirby or Emma Hayes about her topic for her A-levels. And obviously, you always see a lot of stuff on Twitter of people, tagging their favourite players and wishing that they could speak to them. And sometimes you think, that you feel for them because it's probably going to get passed by. They might see it, it might not work out for them. But luckily for Poppy, a few days after she posted on Twitter explaining why she wanted to speak to them, she was able to sit down with Frank Kirby and actually have a discussion with her.
Did you see that? It was Emma Hayes that tweeted her back.
Yeah,
really nice touch.
And was like, "Oh, I'll get in touch with our media team," and that just, that's just so nice of both Emma Hayes and also Frank Kirby as well to like give up her time. Obviously, she's recovering from an injury at the minute, so she's obviously got
a little bit of extra time.
Yeah, she's got a lot going on, but she's got a little bit of extra time to be able to sit down and just give her time to a young A-level student who's really trying to pursue, an important subject, and she wants to pursue like sports and stuff like that as she gets older. So, like that's just so nice to see.
It'll stay with her forever, won't it? That.
Yeah, Yeah, absolutely. Like, you know, I think about the first time that we spoke to like Vicky Jepson after the game, or like we spoke to a player, or like, you know, you sat down with Rachel Fairness before this season, like on Zoom and stuff like that. Like those things stay with you because like, I don't know, it's just, you just never think it's going to happen. You never think you're going to get the opportunity to do that. And we're obviously very lucky to be able to speak to a number of people, but for an A-level student who, you know, one of her favourite players, Frank Kirby, and she's been able to sit down and talk about a topic that's important to her and probably important to Fran as well. It's just lovely to see.
It also highlights the accessibility that there is within like the women's game when you compare it to the men's game, and we've said this right from the very beginning that it's such more of a personal sport between the player and the fans. So even at the end of the game, the Prince Park especially, and I'm pretty sure most of the other teams do it as well, at the end of the game they always come to the fans, fill out any autographs, photos, literally anything, and they take that extra time, whereas you just don't see that in the men's game these days. And I don't think it would be easily, security wise, it probably wouldn't be the right thing to do either. So it's so nice to have this sport in that way, that it is such more of a personal tone with things that go on, and we are so much more accessible to different things, and you sort of relate to these people more as just footballers. You see them just as people as well, which I think is the most humble part about all of it, and it's definitely one of the better reasons when you're comparing the two sports together.
Yeah, definitely, completely agree. You know, you never know. You might be able to see a little bit of this little chat between the two of them. You don't know whether Chelsea's media team.
We might do. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. But yeah, very happy that she was able to do that, because I'd be absolutely buzzing. Imagine like sitting down with one of your favourite players and just being able to chat to them about it.
Imagine sitting down with Tobin Heath. I do think you'd be able to pin a sentence together.
I don't know what I'd do.
You'd be like, oh my god, I love you.
No, I'd probably just like stumble over my words every 5 seconds. I'd just be like, oh my god. Yeah. Like my brain would be going 10,000 miles per hour. Like I just wouldn't have a clue.
No, me either.
Who would be the one person you'd want to sit down with? Would it still be Lucy Bruns or?
Yeah, I'd absolutely love to sit down with Lucy Bruns, but I think also maybe Sam Kerr would be good because she's quite fun.
Yeah.
And then I also think, imagine sitting down with like Carly Lloyd or Alex Morgan. That would be... But yeah, I think definitely Lucy Bruns is still at the top of the tree.
Yeah.
Tree.
Wait. Some good shots in there. Just finally, Liverpool women play Crystal Palace at home on Sunday afternoon. There's the possibilities that some fans might be able to go to the game. I'm not sure if anything's been announced just yet, but fingers crossed that we can have some fans in the stadium, because it would be absolutely amazing just to have
a win as well. Imagine a win with fans.
With fans, just feel a little bit more of normality coming back.
100%, yeah.
Yeah. So I'll definitely be going. Amy's a potential.
I'm planning to at this moment.
At this moment in time.
In the diary.
It's in the diary. So there could be a reunion, our RMTV Women's Podcast reunion here after, I don't even know,
like 6 months.
August. So it's now December. So first weekend in August we last seen each other because it was your birthday.
About 4 months then, maybe. Yeah, crazy. And then I can actually watch some live football.
I know, it's amazing. It's so good. Like, it's just the best thing. So. I know. But yeah, so there'll be all the usual stuff, post-match stuff after the game on Sunday, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But thank you very much for watching. Remember to like the video, comment, subscribe to our channel. This is the road to 2K now. Yeah, so
imagine if we can hit 2K. Wow. Yeah. That would be incredible. I feel like we're really bad at talking about milestones. Like, we hit them and we don't say anything about them, really. We're like, oh, that's cool. Whereas we really probably should give ourselves a bit more credit for like reaching them. But yeah, 2K then 200K.
Woo! Yeah, subscribe to the channel and we'll see you all next time with a new video. Bye.
Bye.